Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to rounds 25, 26, and 27 of the Racetech V8 ESC Sprint Series. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight in the booth with me, I have Mr. Will I Am Switzer. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Clyde. Good evening, Sam. And good evening, everybody. Tonight's a very special night out here in the Racetech V8 Supercars Sprint Series. It kind of goes together like peanut butter and jelly, bacon and eggs, or pizza and beer. I guess V8 Supercars and Mount Panorama circuit are synonymous with each other. This is going to be very special and looking really forward to it. Back to you, Clyde.
Yeah, certainly is. The sprint series, first season that we've done this, so we've got three 20-minute races coming up tonight, with a 10-minute practice session between each race and a couple of minutes for me to get the session set up. We've also got qualifying for race one, and then we have full reverse grids for races 2 and 3. So, Bill, we've all done many, many, many laps around this track, and we know, how easy it can bite you. Looking at the names that we've got racing tonight, Mike T obviously stands out. Johnny Brandon, Victor Tanaka's a late entry. Do you think we could possibly get a surprise winner in one of the three races?
Well, Clyde, as you know, as well as I do, anything's possible in these cars because, especially at Bathurst here, like you mentioned, going over the mountain is very treacherous, and you got to be spot on. One little mistake, and you're basically done. And that can even happen to the good guys. So anything's possible. Really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great evening.
Yeah, most definitely. And if Sam could possibly get the standings up for us, we can see that it's tight at the top. Tony Kloosterman is currently sunning himself in Vegas, so obviously he's going to lose the top spot tonight. George is only 1 point behind him. Johnny Brandon is 27 points further back, which is surprising as Johnny's had more wins than anybody else in this series this season with 8. But he seems to either win or come near the back. Do you think Johnny will be looking to add to those 8 wins for this season, Bill?
No doubt about it. Johnny's very competitive, and he certainly is out there to win. He's very capable of doing it, and with Tony absent, I'm sure he's going to try like crazy to get notch at least one, maybe more wins here.
Yeah, I think you're right. And from the practice session, we had Johnny and Mike T were the only two drivers that got into the 2:04s. Currently, with 7 minutes gone of the 10-minute qualifying session, we've got George McClay on top with a 2:05.2. But we're yet to see times from either Johnny or Mike. So, we've said before, said earlier, how easy this track is, to bite you. But one thing I always say, Bill, that when you watch the fast guys round here, they don't half make it look easy, don't they?
They certainly do, and as you and I both know, it is not easy. This is a very unique track, probably nothing like it elsewhere in the world. It's certainly unique. It's one of my favorite tracks. Unfortunately, I can't drive it very well, but it's got everything. It's got, the mountain, a lot of elevation change, really wicked turns, fast turns, slow turns, two really strong, long, fast straightaways. It's really got it all, and you got to come and prove what medal you got to get around here and win.
Yeah, you certainly do. And I personally, I'm looking forward to race 3 because we usually start that on sunset conditions. So probably the last 5 minutes of the race is going to be very, very dark and very, very tricky for these drivers.
Well, I guess it's the guys that's got the best eyesight or night vision is probably going to have an advantage.
Yeah, that's right. Let's hope the drivers have been eating some carrots today. So yes, we've got just over a minute left in qualifying. Still, we have George McClay on top. And still, we don't have times from Mike T or Johnny Brandon. So be interesting to see what they're doing. Whether they're just, they're trying to go as fast as they can, and as we know in qualifying, one incident and that's it. Your lap is nulled, or are they, starting at the back and going to test their skills through traffic, ready for the main event next season? And just as I say that, Johnny Brandon pops on pole with a 2047. Couldn't have talked that one up any better.
Yeah, well, that was good timing. I'm worried a little bit about maybe Mike T. Being in Australia, it's like the middle of the night there, I guess, or early morning or whatever. So I'm hoping he didn't book or something. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. We still got an exciting night.
Yeah, it's possible he's fallen asleep, or I believe Mike is actually a New Zealander living in Australia. So
Oh God, bite my
he
tongue.
might still be in tears over the rugby this morning.
Yeah, maybe.
So we are now coming to the end of qualifying. Time is up, and the drivers will be able to finish the lap that they are on. So, Victor Tanaka joined late. He's popped in a 2061. We know he can go quicker than that. But at the moment, we've got Johnny Brandon on pole, and there's Mike T. He is awake. So we've got a
There he is,
2047 and a 2048. So, yeah, definitely the class of the field at the moment.
I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with Rich Warmingham and Greg Carr. The 205s around here is a really good time. I'll tell you, I was watching them in practice, and they're going like the devil's chasing them. Incredible.
Yeah, there's my experience of this track, I'm fairly safe round here. Unlike Pete Bingham, if you haven't heard, we did the Bathurst 1000 and Pete crashed twice, but that's another story. But there are, I can go round here safe, but whenever I try to push the car, that's when the mistakes happen. And these guys need to do both. They need to push, and they need to not make a mistake to be able to score good points.
Yep, they have a tendency to hit their mark every time. They know exactly the amount of throttle they need to put into it, and all kinds of different things to make it go fast and safely.
Yeah, certainly. I just see a crash
Yeah,
there with Lane O'Connor.
That was
I was
interesting.
just giggling at that, and I couldn't press my button.
That's okay. I saw that too.
I'm not sure if there's anybody left to complete a lap or whether we have our grid set.
Oh, we also got Nikolai Bogatrov here. And he came in late also.
Yeah, as did Vernon Wiley. So,
Yep.
fairly decent grid for the sprint series, to be honest. 17 cars at the moment.
Absolutely. Nikolai's got the Ford that looks like it's got, what is it, chicken pox.
That's the one.
So this really has nothing to do with this race, but Tony's trying to get in to scout your Vegas Golden Knights to see how well they play. He's trying to get tickets to that, by the way.
Yeah, he did tell me that he was going to try and get tickets, and I said it's about time he watched a decent ice hockey team. So
Yeah.
you never know, the old bugger might even buy me something.
Boy, you better be sitting down because you'll faint if he ever gives you something. Nah, Tony's a good bloke. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so the end of quali is upon us, and we have our starting grid set. So we have Mr. Johnny Brandon on pole, Mike Taliancic in second, George McClay in third, Rich Warmingham in fourth, and Greg Carr in fifth. Apologies, I needed a cough. Harold Stadler 6th, Victor Tanaka 7th, JC is what I'm going to call him in 8th, Gary Croft in 9th, Lane O'Connor in 10th. I'll leave the next ones to you.
Alrighty, and in 11th we have Miroslav Nostalgic. In 12th, Andrew Hoffman. 13th, Anthony Woodward. 14th, Ronald Racing in Socks Moons. 15th, we got Nikolai Bogotrev. 16th, Vernon Wiley, No Time. Michael Frost, No Time. And also No Time for Nikolai Bogotrev. So that's our starting field for the first race.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So
Me too.
I'm hoping the three guys that didn't set a time are actually racing. I think Nikolai actually joined with about 2 seconds left. Mike Frost looks like he had a connection issue as well because he disappeared and came back. But here we go, folks. So we wait for the revs to rise.
Okay. There's Mike T's on there now.
Yeah, looks like we're still waiting for a couple of cars to grid. Mike Frost is on the grid, which is good. Believe we're just waiting for Vernon. And the revs are rising. And we're green.
As they head down into Hell's Corner.
I don't know if my camera pack is predicting the future, but it seems to be focusing on Mike Frost at the moment.
Really? Huh. Michael P's making a run on the outside on Johnny. Brandon.
Oh, Ant was very, very loose over the bump there.
Michael got loose also going through Hell's. No, I'm sorry. Quarry. Through the cutting, single file.
Yeah, obviously with this track, it tends to be single file all the way through to Forest Elbow now, unless somebody makes a mistake. Oh, Mike Frost seems to have stopped. Oh, he's going again. He's got a lot of damage there.
Hey, as they funnel, not quite yet. They're kind of heading for Conrad, Forest Elbow, and then on to Conrad.
Nice to see the XVR boys are wearing their retro paints ready for next weekend.
Yeah. Johnny's retro paint shows up for me, and also who's the other one back there?
Yeah, you got Rich Warbingham's got
Rich
one.
Warmingham,
Lane O'Connor.
Yep. See, Lane I don't have. I just got the ugly wheels on his car. That's it. Strange.
Rich Warmingham is all over the back of George McClay at the moment. Meanwhile, Johnny and Mike are stretching away in the lead.
Should be a good battle.
Yeah, Mike T so close to Johnny at the moment.
Oh, yeah. It appears he's sizing him up right now. I don't know. Can't tell, but wow, he was close to that wall. Whoa.
Well, as we all know, Mike T's speciality is fuel saving, but being 3 20-minute sprint races, that takes that out of the equation. Unless he's underfilled on purpose.
Just to prove a point.
Yeah, he's probably only put 3 gallons in it.
Going to go into hyperdrive any minute now.
Okay, so the front two are on the way down the hill now.
Through Forest Elbow nice and smoothly. Back on the Conrad straight.
Yeah, let's see what sort of a draft Mike can get off of Johnny here. Although Mike is a very, very patient driver. He'll wait for the opportune moment to make the pass if he can.
Yeah, see, he was testing that time. Whoop, look at that. He's going to the inside. Nope, back down. Whoa! George is off the road at the cutting. He's back on. And Rich closes up on him very closely. Rich warming him.
Yeah, George managed to pull a gap on Rich and then throw it all away going across the grass.
I guess he was trying to do a no brake corner there. That didn't work. Well, good time to test it, I guess.
Yeah, and then behind that you've got Greg and Victor Tanaka having a good NQR battle.
Mike held up by slower traffic. Was that Vernon? Vernon Wiley?
It certainly is, yeah. And again, you know, you catch the slow traffic going up the hill, and you've got some hard decisions to make.
That's right.
Well, George is through, as is Rich, close behind him. Good driving there from Vernon. You know, he's slower than these guys, but he's, you know, stuck to the racing line, done exactly what he's supposed to do, and you know, make the other drivers go around you.
Yep, exactly. Being a specialist at that, I know that, so you are absolutely correct. Andrew Hoffman crashed.
Ooh, yes, I've got Andrew, and it could be Nikolai. Let's see if we can see what happened here. So I've got Andrew behind and Woodward. Oh, hang on. There was something happened in front of Andrew. Gary Croft.
Johnny Brandon still leading up, heading up in the quarry with Michael T right behind.
Ah, I see. So Gary Croft is attempting to go past Vernon, gets a horrible netcode, sends him into the wall, and he then gets collected by Lane O'Connor, Andrew Hoffman, and Nikolai.
Oh boy.
So big crash there, all caused by netcode.
Michael T again is beginning to creep back in the back of Johnny Brandon.
Yeah, Johnny seems to eke an advantage, you know, around the start-finish line, and
he does
to the, you know, the start of the mountain. But then once they get into the twisty stuff, Mike seems to pull it back again.
Yeah, it appears that way. You're correct. and Rich Warmingham and George McClay are still having a good battle.
Yeah,
In third and
Johnny's
fourth.
actually going defensive now. Just trying to work out, just watching Johnny just to see, the section of the track that he is faster than Mike, or whether Mike just made a mistake.
Well, Mike got behind Vernon and lost a little time, so he, coming up the past quarry there, so he's been trying to catch up ever since. He looks a little closer, but not much. Oop. And Mike pushed really hard through Forest Elbow. He was sideways going through there. Looks like he's trying to close in him on Conrad Strait. They're trying to get a draft.
You might
Very
not be
close.
watching live, Bill.
You're correct. I'm not. Darn it. There we go. We're going. Yep.
So both of these guys are pushing. You can see the tail wagging on the car all the time.
Yeah, now we're in McPhillamy Park. Okay, got it. Thank you for that, Clyde. Didn't realize.
That's what I'm here for. Unfortunately, we've lost Mike Frost. He's having computer problems, so let's hope he gets that sorted out, ready for race 2.
Boy, Mikey's really pushing now. Wow.
I just had an on-board half a lap with Mike, and he's unbelievably smooth
I know
across
it.
the top of the mountain. He's so close.
Wow, look at that.
Johnny is defending every time now. Oh, I think Mike's got him.
Move.
Johnny's going to have the inside for the next corner.
Yeah, Mike's probably going to have to back out of that. Maybe not. Wow.
I'd like to see that again, actually.
He lost some time, but boy, you had a heck of a shot at that corner. Wow. Like he was practicing his drifting on that one.
Yeah, I think Johnny actually came across there slightly.
Oh, really?
Very hard to tell, to be honest. Okay, so we've lost Andrew Hoffman as well. Rich Warmingham is still up the tailpipes of George McClay.
Yep, George seemed to be holding him at bay at the moment.
Victor has got past Greg at some point, and he's now closing on the Rich and George show.
Yep.
And surprisingly, Victor's still got all the panels on his car.
Yeah, Victor drives very hard, that's for sure.
So Johnny's got almost a 2-second lead at the moment, but I'm sure Michael will be doing his utmost to reel him in again and have another go. Victor still closing in on Rich. Victor's made up 2 places since the start, but our biggest mover is Miroslav, who's made up 4 places from his 11th place starting position. He's now in 7th.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
George seems to have pulled a little gap on Rich Warmingham as well. I don't know whether Rich is feeling the pressure from behind.
Yeah, Victor's really closing in on Rich, isn't he? Rich Warman. Might have a shot at him here. Going down Conrad Straight. Maybe he's a little too far.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit too far back,
Yeah,
although he might
maybe
try and poke his nose down the inside.
Maybe next lap.
It's very loose, Rich Warmingham. I don't mean that in a sexual way either.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Although he might be.
Oh, there goes Victor, front straight.
Yeah, a little mistake there from Rich, I believe. And he's going to have to give this up and see if he can stick with him.
In the hell corner, Victor got him.
So Mike has already cut Johnny's lead in half.
Wow. Lane O'Connor's in the pits as well. Was he involved in that accident?
Yeah, he was involved in that big one.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah, let's have a look. What's happened to Johnny?
He's pulled off now. Right front sheet metal. I don't know where he crashed, but.
Yes, into the, I don't know what the corners are called, the first really sharp left-hander going up the hill. He's gone into the wall on the outside.
Oh, that's the cutting. Yeah.
Yeah, right front wing is missing, and there's a lot of dents down the car.
Yep.
He also seems to have lost some top speed.
Front shield under the headlight cover's all bent up too. Rocker pan.
Yeah, Greg's now going to get him. Yeah, Johnny's pitting. I think I think he's probably got a meatball with that sort of damage.
No doubt.
Well, I'm sure if Tony Kloosterman is watching this, he'll be cheering at the moment.
Well, now Mike can practice his fuel economy.
Yeah.
I think he actually just scraped the wall a little bit in the back.
Well, Johnny's out with a nice shiny new car. For those of you who don't know, we do have one fast repair in this series. I believe he's, I don't know where he is, 7th?
Is this the last lap?
8th for Johnny. Okay, so we are being told that we are on board with Victor now. He's managed to get into a podium position, and he's now chasing down George for the runner-up spot.
Well, he's got a tough guy to get by. Let's see how he does.
He certainly has, but he's very, very close to him. Going down Comrod. George is defending. Victor's making a lunge. George has got the inside.
Wow, that's a gutsy move. Really nice pass. That was a beauty.
That was very brave by Victor and very well driven by George as well. George could have quite
Definitely.
easily turned him there.
For sure.
And that little bit of action has brought Rich Warmingham back into it.
Yeah, he's back in there.
Is this the last lap, Sam? So
Okay.
Mike T out in front, all on his own, with a 5.5 second lead. We've got Victor in second and George still chasing him hard in third, and Rich Warmingham still hasn't given up, because if anything happens between George and Victor, he's going to be there to pounce.
Okay, Victor and
He
group
just needs a
coming
good
into
exit.
or a force elbow.
Yeah,
George was a little.
I think Victor's got that second place sewed up.
Whoa, where are you going,
Whoa.
Victor? Just went off the road.
Just
Stop
didn't
looking
like
in
the
the
look of
mirror.
that grass.
Stop looking in the mirror. And George is pushing really hard. Wow. Closing right up, but I don't think he's got enough time. If Victor can get through Murray's all right.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Mike T comes around the last corner to take the race 1 win.
And Victor pulls in second.
Yes.
George would play
George
third.
in third.
Rich Warmingham fourth.
Greg Carr comes home fifth. Miroslav drifts it round the last corner to come home in second. Johnny's got past JC. So we got Johnny in 7th and JC in 8th. Harold Stadler comes home in 9th. Okay, so Johnny Brandon seemed to have the measure on Mike T, but made a mistake. Mike T gets the win. Great drive from Victor Tanaka from 7th up to 2nd. And Miroslav also from 11th up till 6th. So that set the tone for the evening, Bill. What are you expecting from race 2?
Not much different. I was unfortunately, I feel sorry for Johnny, but you know this place can bite you. As I said before, even the good ones can get into the fence. I was surprised he could keep the measure of Mike T, because Mike T is a really talented, excellent driver, especially being a New Zealander transplanted to Australia, as I've been corrected. They have the measure of these cars and these tracks over here, and but Johnny did an excellent job, and of course, hats off to Victor. That was a heck of a fight for him. He did a great job, and everybody in the field did really well.
Yeah, most definitely. I echo them thoughts. So, race 1 is over. We will be leaving you for about 10-15 minutes. Join us again for race 2. I'll see you all soon. And welcome back, everybody, to race 2 of the evening from the V8 Racetech V8 ESC Sprint Series here at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. First race, we see an uncharacteristic accident from Johnny Brandon, which in the end gifted Mike Taliancic the win. Although, Mike may have got there anyway. Race 2, afternoon conditions. I've just had a look at the track temperature and it is 127 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this might be a slippery race, Bill.
Yeah, either that or we can fry bacon, one or the other. That's pretty hot. Anyway, it's going to be very interesting, and we'll have to see how the boys handle this one. The first one was sure exciting. Looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, definitely. Mike T will be starting from last place on the grid because of the reverse grid. Johnny is probably about halfway. So, you know, I think Mike's basically got to throw his testicles out of the window and just go for it. Johnny can afford to be a little bit more patient. But I think we might get some action in this one, Bill.
I agree with you totally. As we saw in the first race, even unfortunately by himself, Johnny made a mistake. So with a bunch of cars around him, it can happen as well. And Mike T's got a lot of cars to crawl through, and I mean, he knows this track well, does it well, but it'll be quite a task if he can get a podium finish on this race.
Yeah, certainly, and obviously, from race 1, one of the better drives was from Victor Tanaka. So he'll be starting near the back with Mike. And we know what Victor's like. If there's a gap, he'll go for it. If there isn't a gap, he'll make it. So, you've got Victor and Mike, and then, George and Rich Warmingham was showing really, really good pace as well. So, there's a lot of fast guys to get up through the slower guys in the field. No disrespect. On a track that, you could probably say 50% of the track you can overtake on, and the other 50% you're taking your life into your own hands.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we shouldn't leave out people like Harold Stadler, and there's a lot of great cars showing some promise. Anybody can really get up there in a podium position because a lot of things change on this track as we've seen, and hopefully it's half as exciting as the first race.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of Harold in that race. I think he came somewhere around 7th, 8th in race 1. So I don't know whether he had an issue or whether he was just genuinely struggling. But, he's normally up there in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of lost track of him too. Went hunting through the field, and I did find him kind of near, not in the back, but kind of semi back. And I was wondering maybe if he was involved in a incident that we didn't really. Looks like we're gridding.
No. Sorry, I was having a little cough in the background. So Mike Frost is disconnected, so it looks like he may still be having these computer problems, and that will leave Lane O'Connor in pole with his retro golf livery on. Revs are rising, and we're green. Great start there from Lane.
Excellent.
Oh.
Hang on to it.
Bit of jiggy at the back.
Whoa.
Oh, there's a biggie at the back. I
think
I see Rich Warmingham go round.
Yep, and Miroslav. I'm sorry, Miroslav. Nostalgic. Yeah, he's got a lot of damage on his car. He's come to a stop on the mountain straight. He's in the pits at this time. It looked like it was started by Andrew Hoffman. It got off the edge of the track, got a little squirrely, came across, and
Wow, this midfield is amazing. Yeah, it looks like Harold's already got some damage on the right rear quarter panel of his car. I'm sure if these cars had flashable headlights, they'd all be at it at the moment.
oh yeah.
Johnny's thrown one up the inside of Harold.
Little hip check
nudge.
on Harold there. I don't think our friend Harold's going to be too happy at that point. His teammate George McClay is right alongside him at this time. Michael Talianich is hanging in the back. He's waiting for the chaos to stop.
Oh, I just see a Texense car go round there. I believe it was George. And yeah, we just had an apology there. Yeah, it looked like JC just lost it under braking. Nothing really George could do about that. George's car is looking very, very second-hand.
Now, is it just me, or is Harold Stadler run a lot without the rear quarter panel on his car? It seems like it happens.
I'm seeing that as well, yeah. Perhaps he removes it before the race.
Must be some kind of secret or something.
Yeah. So Johnny Brandon has made his way up to 5th, and he's now chasing Gary Croft. Lane O'Connor still out in front, and Woodward 2nd, and Andrew Hoffman 3rd.
Wow. Excellent. It's lovely when you have nice clean air out there like Lane's experiencing right now. And not too many other cars trying to kill you.
Yeah, Mike T's now starting to make his way through the field. He's gone up from 17th to 9th. He's now chasing Harold with his battered car. Gary Croft trying to put a move on Andrew Hoffman. So Gary Croft got past Andrew Hoffman, and Johnny just followed him straight through whilst Andrew was forced out wide. So, yeah, Johnny's using Gary as a pick at the moment. Yeah, Mike has just apologised to Harold, so there must have been a little bump there somewhere. Let me wind. Holy shit! Have you seen Harold's car?
Whoa! Not a straight panel on it.
I see. Mike has tried to put one up the inside and turned him. Harold then had to wait for some traffic to go past, and yeah, that is a bit battered.
Yeah, it got hit pretty hard.
So Mike's got a bit of clean air in front of him now. He's in 8th, but there's a big gap to Ronald in. Sorry, Mike's in 7th now. Something has happened to Greg.
Harold into the pits. Greg's in the pits also.
Let me see if I can find out what happened to Greg. He's got an extremely bent rear wing.
Oh, Victor Tanaka's in the pits as well. He's a lap down. Huh. We might have been, yeah.
Yeah, I can't find what happened to Greg, but his rear wing was a mess.
Okay.
And Mike T's car is a proper handful at the moment. I know he's got some damage on it.
George McClay is back out on the track. He's climbing up to the cutting at this.
So I believe Ronald has got past Andrew Hoffman, and Mike T is now chasing down Andrew.
Yes, he is. And Mike T's car looks very loose coming on through a force elbow.
Well, just on board with Mike, and he can see 3 cars in front of him. So there's definitely positions there to be made up.
For sure.
Johnny has got past Gary at some point as well, so he's now chasing down Ant Woodward. And Lane O'Connor's still in the lead.
Ant seems to be closing in on Lane, and of course, here comes Johnny Brandon right behind the two of them.
So Mike T has got Hoffman, Moons, and Croft all in his sights at the moment. Mike's car has got, superficial damage. It's like a crinkled nose, but it looks like it's absolutely wild.
Yeah, I see what you mean. The front looks like somebody punched it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's damage to the front splitter, which is probably affected his turning. But there's been a couple of occasions where he's been turning right to go left and turning left to go right.
Yeah, the front is damaged.
Doesn't seem to be down on speed though.
Yeah, pulled to the outside of Andrew on the straightaway. And he has
He's
him.
cleared him yet. Next target is Racing in Socks.
Okay, Lane O'Connor is still in front, and he's got Johnny Brandon right on his tail now.
Yeah, Johnny made a move there on Ant. But between them, they've got a good 6-second lead over fourth place Gary Croft.
And Johnny's going to get him in quarry. Went to the inside. Johnny Brandon's now in first place, dropping Lane O'Connor to second, and Ant Woodward's still hanging on in third.
Oh, Ronald just made a move on Gary Croft, which has let Mike Talianchis get past both of them. So yet again, Mike has got some clear air in front of him. See if he can chase down Ant.
He's got a little less than 7 minutes to do it.
And Mike has pulled a massive gap on Ronald already.
Took the words out of my mouth. I just saw how far ahead he was ahead of them already. Wow. Yeah, almost 3 seconds he's pulled out on him already.
Yeah.
He's got about 2.5 up to Ant Woodward.
Yeah, and he's lapping about 2 seconds faster than Ant. Across the line, there was about 10 seconds. Sorry, 5 seconds, looking at the wrong car. Mike and Johnny are both in the 209s on this really, really hot track. Has come down from the start. We're down to 120 degrees Fahrenheit now.
Oh, really cooled off, yeah. It's still pretty warm.
So let's have a look a bit further in the field. Rich Warmingham looks like he's in a really, really good battle with JC and Nikolai. And I don't think if you added all 3 cars together, you'd get a decent one out of them. They've all got various bits of damage on them.
Yeah, Rich was involved in a first lap accident.
Yeah, Rich has got the front right wing missing. JC looks like he's got the Mike T crinkled nose and a little bit of damage on the rear. Nikolai has lost the boot, the wing, front left wing. So yeah, Nikolai's car's probably half the weight it started at. Rich has got past JC. Good move there. These three are just nose to tail around every single corner. Apologies for not looking at what's going on up the front, but this is a really, really
I'm
good
up
battle.
there. I'm up there. Nothing much has changed. Johnny Brandon's pulled out a lead over Lane a little bit, and then Anthony's back, and Mike's about 2.5 seconds behind him. So not much has changed here.
So JC's gone back past Rich, then hit the wall again. Oh, and Rich has caught the inside wall and spun it. Let's hope he can get going again. Looks like he will. So our 3-car battle is now down to 2.
Mike T is gaining ground on Ant Woodward. Mike was really pushing through the mountain that time, sideways through every corner. Wow. Pushing hard on Conrad. He's right on his boot lid coming through down to Murray's on the outside. Looking like he's going to do a crossover.
Yeah, Ant's trying a defensive move. Oh, I think Mike might have got up the inside there, but he got a little bit loose out of the corner.
Yeah, coming into Hell's Corners on the inside.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get. Whoa!
Yeah, I think Ant should have
right.
gone defensive there.
Mike must have heard me say that he'd never make a podium on this when he's trying to make me a liar, I guess.
But he's not actually that far behind Lane.
No, he isn't. Like about 2.5 seconds, roughly.
Yeah, Lane seems to have a spotless car at the moment. But Mike's T has certainly got his gun sights on him.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going to get at least another 2 laps.
Boy, oh boy, he is pushing through Forest Elbow. Wow. One more lap. Okay.
Yeah, I think going up to the mountain, I believe Mike will be right on the backside of Lane.
He may be very close.
Yeah, I think Lane's going to have to drive a very, very defensive last lap. Further in the field, so 5th, 6th and 7th, Ronald Moons, Gary Croft and Andrew Hoffman are still all together. Gary's trying everything he can. Andrew's just sitting behind him, hoping to pick up the pieces.
Okay, Lane O'Connor and Mike Talianich are entering the mountain. They're coming into Quarry.
Okay, I'll let you watch that, Bill, while I watch this
Got it.
battle further back.
Copy that.
So we believe this is the final lap.
Mike is getting through McPhillamy very, very close. Going through Skyline. He's right on the rear bumper. Down through the S's. Still together. Now through the cutting. You could tie them together. Good call, Clyde. They are together, no doubt about that. Through force elbow. Lane did a nice job.
Yeah, Lane just needs to make his car as wide as possible now.
Did really great through there.
But this
I hope
three-car battle is now coming through Forest Elbow.
Okay, Mike's moving to the inside. He's past Lane. Looks like Mike has taken him. He's coming down into Murray's and he's pulled the lead out in front of Lane.
Yeah, Ronald's going defensive on Gary.
Okay, Mike Taliandich crosses the line ahead of Lane. Okay.
Yeah, around the final bend. So we got Ant Woodward fourth, Ronald Moons holds on to fifth, and then Gary Croft sixth, Andrew Hoffman seventh. Nikolai Bogotyrev comes round in eighth. JC follows him round in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is Rich Warmingham. So, another fantastic race there, Bill. Not many cars with all their panels left at the end of the race. But, you know, Johnny Brandon, another win for Johnny, 11th to 1st. Mike T, 17th to 2nd. So, you know, they've proved that they can come from the back. Lane O'Connor finished on the podium, led the race for a long, long time. Held off Ant Woodward, but just couldn't hold off his teammate Johnny and Mike T in the end. So yeah, Bill, another exciting race on a very, very hot and slippery track. Anybody stand out for you?
Definitely, you know, the usual players acted magnificently, but hats off to Lane O'Connor. He held on for a long time, put up a heck of a battle right to that last lap, and you know, getting passed by a guy like Mike T is no shame there. Let me tell you. I mean, the guy's a seasoned professional. Oh, he's going to do the jump. He did. He did the jump. Nice one. Oh. Mike T.
Children.
What a character. That was great. Anyway, yeah, but as I was saying, Leon O'Connor did an excellent job. Ant Woodward had good result. The Ronald Moons, Gary Croft, Andrew Hoffman battle was really excellent. Really excellent. And of course, Nikolai in there as well. Can't say much bad about any of them. The only player that was kind of caught up in something in the beginning was Victor Tanaka, and of course, Miroslav Nestelek. I'm sorry, MN. And too bad that Mike Frost lost his hookup again. Really a shame, but enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, definitely. And any of you guys that you know have the tricky names for us to pronounce, you know, feel free to drop us a line and let us know what we should be saying. Otherwise, you will just be called JC and MN forever. So we're going to take another short break. We shall be back in about 10 minutes' time with race 3 from Bathurst. Fast guys starting at the back again with the reverse grid. We have a sunset race, so we're expecting at least the last 5 minutes in darkness around Bathurst. Just to, you know, if it wasn't hard enough, let's make it a little bit harder. So, like I say, join us again in 10 minutes for race 3. See you soon.
Come on back.
And welcome back, everybody, for race 3 of the evening from Bathurst, Mount Panorama. Still in the booth with me is Will I Am Switzer. Bill, um, pretty much the same as the last race with the fast guys coming from the back. However, the track is a lot cooler. The light is fading. Um, could be interesting towards the end of the race.
Oh, that's for sure. I was when you were talking, I was thinking about like this track isn't difficult enough without adding the element of it being dark. I mean, come on, this is the true test right here. And what I really like is that both Johnny and Michael are back in the back together, so that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, like you say, it's a difficult track. We've seen lots of wall banging, so cars with damage that makes it even more difficult. And then throw in a sunset race that will pretty much guarantee be dark at the end of the race, and it's probably about as hard as it's ever going to get, I would have thought. If I was a Johnny or a Mike, I think I would be doing everything I can to get up the front as soon as possible before the light fades, because I believe that's just going to change everything for everybody.
Indeed, for sure. And I'm not sure Victor Tanaka's situation, but he should be starting near the front on this race, and he's going to be a difficult guy to catch if he blasts out there like he did in the first race.
Yeah, I believe when I did the grid, I think Victor was maybe third on the grid. Obviously, he was caught up in something with Mike, I believe, at the start of the last race. So yeah, if Victor's on the grid, he's obviously gonna. It'll be one of the favourites for this race because he's definitely got pace. It's just if he can keep out of trouble, same as everybody else.
Indeed, and I believe George is up near the front too this race, isn't he? He's another hard guy to catch if he's out there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think George, by his own standards, has had the best of meetings. So I'm pretty sure he'll be looking for the top step of the podium to try and round the evening off on a positive.
Yep, for sure. Ought to be interesting. The first two races I've been absolutely joyed with with the competition we've had and the number of cars that showed up. It's been a lot of fun so far. Up, looks like they're gridding up now.
Yeah, certainly are, and looks like poor old Mike Frost seems to have sorted out his problems, got onto the grid, and then got the dreaded receive throughput unacceptable.
I see it down on the
Um,
bottom.
Hope he can get back before the race starts. But revs are rising. And we're green.
Yeah,
Cars
Victor.
look so good in this light with their
They really
headlights on.
shine. Yeah, they really shine. Whoa.
Oh, what happened there? Greg Carr. I think he must have lost it with cold brakes.
Well, Victor escaped that. He's way out front now.
Okay, I'm going to have a look at Bumpy Brandon. Oh, Hoffman's in a big
Uh-oh.
one.
Oh, and Mike T just ran into somebody. That's Greg Carr.
Right, I'm going to wind that back and see if I can find out what happened. Andrew Hoffman his car is smoking. Oh, they're coming down the straight. Oh, I think Hoffman just loses it under braking and just causes a massive pile up.
Yeah, it appears he just kind of leaked off the side there in the quarry bend and got along around. Yeah, Victor.
And Andrew Hoffman tried to do a 180-degree spin, hit the wall, and blew his engine.
Yeah, I saw that. Terrible.
So we have Victor as away in the front. Just watching Johnny again. He's closing on JC, who's got half of his car missing. Johnny, helps when you watch it live rather than a replay.
Okay, it's Victor, Harold, and George.
Okay,
First, second, and
so
third?
yeah, Harold and George have not had the best of evenings so far. So let's see what they can do from here. Although Victor he's certainly pulling away at the moment.
Rich Warmingham's in fourth.
Yeah, Johnny Brandon's up to 7th. Mike T is in 13th, but Mike T has got damage again.
It should be in the front.
When I wound that back to have a look, Johnny, well, he must have his lucky pants on because there was crashing all around him and he just got through it without a scrape.
Well, we know he lives with the Angels anyway, so. Johnny Brandon, that is.
Well, the light seems to be fading fast.
Yeah, it sure does. Okay, Victor Tanaka's got about a 3-second lead. He's heading down Conrad Straight with Harold Stadler and George McClay. Up, George moving to the inside of Harold. It's like he's got him. He is. He's passed him.
Yeah, Johnny's just made a move on Miroslav.
And Rich Warmingham's closing in on Harold Stadler, going down the main straight.
I think Miroslav just had a problem off of the last turn. I think he's just about to get done by JC. Yes, he has. Johnny Brandon is now chasing after Greg Carr. Victor's pulled nearly a 4-second lead now. Johnny's got some nice clean air in front of him to chase down Greg. Good battle between Lane and Nikolai as well. Nikolai's lost the back end of his car again. But you've got Lane, Nikolai, and Ant Woodward all running nose to tail. They're not that far behind Ronald as well. I think they're catching him, so we could have a 4-car battle going shortly. Nikolai's putting a move on Lane. Lane's not giving it up. Ant's getting interested in it.
Harold Sadler, Rich Warmingham, and Greg Carr very close together going up the mountain straight.
So Ant's got. So we've still got Lane, Ant, and then Nikolai in this battle, and they're still, even though they're battling each other, they're catching Ronald.
Harold Sadler's got his elbows out. Rich Warmingham's all over the back of his car. Of course, they're in the dreaded McPhillamy Park area. Heading for Skyline. Still the same situation. Up, Harold's pulled out a little bit of a lead going down through the S's. Down through the Dipper.
We've got the same here. Lane's pulled out a little bit of a gap, and Woodward went wide in one of the corners. But he's now... They're still catching Ronald.
Ooh, Rich made a little mistake coming out of the Forest Elbow. Greg Carr right on the... Moving to the inside down the Conrad straight. Looks like he's going to get him.
Nikolai was sideways through Forest Elbow.
Greg Carr's passed Rich Warmingham. Greg Carr's moved up into fourth. Richard Warmingham back into fifth. Harold Sadler still hanging strong in third. Victor Tanaka presently has almost a 4-second lead over George McClay.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be stretching that lead out. So whether Victor's just, keeping tabs on what George is doing, and using the lap time to just keep that 4-second gap. But Lane O'Connor has chased down Ronald Moon, so that's going to get very interesting very quickly. And if he doesn't get past in a hurry, he'll have Ant Woodward and Nikolai back on his tail.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Ronald is really, really pushing, but he there's nothing he can do to shake Lane at the moment. We're just going over Skyline now.
Oh, Rich Warmingham clobbered the exit of Forest Elbow. He's still going, but he's dropped back a little bit.
Yeah, so as predicted, Lane has managed to catch Ronald but not get past him, and that's now brought Ant and Nikolai. So we've got a 4-car battle now, all over 9th place.
Wow.
Oh, that's brave by Lane, but he's got it. Oh, I need to watch that back again. Lane got past, I think Ronald just cut the back of him. Let's have another look. Yeah, I think unfortunately Ronald tried to do the switch back on Lane, and he was just carrying so much speed he went into the back of Lane. However, through cutting the grass, he did manage to stay in the lead.
And Johnny Brandon has gotten past Rich Warmingham, and he's closing in on Greg Carr and Harold Stad.
Yeah, so this little battle, we've now got Ant Woodward leading it. Although Ant does seem to be scraping every wall possible. Lane is with his battered Gulf livery now, is behind Ant. Ronald is behind Lane, and Nikolai is behind Ronald. So these guys don't look like they're giving up anything in a hurry.
Johnny Brandon looking on Greg Carr coming down the Conrad Straight. Nope, he last minute pulled back in line, thought better of it. He's pulling in the outside of Murray's corner. See if he can make this. He's got him. That was impressive. That was impressive. Went around the outside of Greg Carr before the entrance to Murray's. That's a great.
Yeah, Nikolai's got past Ronald, so I think Ronald must have some damage because he's now the fourth car in this train. And I think Ronald, Nikolai, and Lane have all got very damaged cars. And Woodward is starting to pull away from them.
You know, Johnny Brandon just tried to pass Harold Stadler going through Griffin's corner, and Harold Stadler said no way. So Harold's still hanging in there in third.
And Victor Tanaka 4.7 second lead. So, like I say, still not really racing away with it. So George is keeping him on a leash, albeit a long way. I've just joined your Johnny Brandon battle.
Yep.
And Greg is keeping up with him, hoping something happens and maybe he can get two positions out of it.
You know, Johnny's slipping and sliding going across the mountain, so maybe those tires are getting worn for trying to catch up with everybody.
Or maybe Johnny doesn't eat enough carrots and he can't see in the dark.
Maybe not. As we know from experience, Harold Stadler's not the easiest guy to get past.
No, he's the V8 ESC equivalent. Oh, here we
Look at
go.
this
Here we
move.
go.
Nope, Harold was having nothing of that. But Harold gave him room.
Yeah, I was going to say he's the equivalent of Ryan Newman.
Yeah, exactly.
They call him kidney stone, don't they? Because he's hard to pass. I have fireworks going off outside my window for some reason.
Whoa. Johnny just got into the quarter panel of Harold there.
Yeah, this has certainly brought Greg right back into it.
Oh, yeah, he's ready. He's ready to pounce. They look like they're attached together. Incredible. Harold's very defensive. Good corner at elbow. Excellent.
Yeah, and he's brought Rich Warmingham into it as well. It's a 4-car train now.
Johnny slips to the inside. Looks like he might
I
have him.
think he's got it done
He's
this
got him, yeah.
time.
Whoa! Uh-oh.
I think
Harold
Carroll just repaid the favour there.
Yeah, I would say so. Whoops.
Certainly won't be enough time for Johnny to go after him again.
I doubt it.
However, that has put Greg Carr up into 3rd place. So as we were saying, you know, Greg managed to stay with him. Something happened, and away he went.
And Rich Warmingham has slipped by as well.
And Lane O'Connor's gone, so I don't know whether he had another accident or whether his car was just that badly damaged he's parked it.
Victor Tanaka now has a 6-second lead.
Yeah, I think the only person that can beat Victor at the moment is Victor.
Probably.
I'm hearing there was a loud cheer from Elvis Kloosterman. So I believe, what do you think, Sam? Final lap?
Okay.
So Victor's got a 6-second lead, so you know, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes himself, it should be fairly simple. George McLean 2nd. He's got a big lead over Greg in 3rd. So the top 3, barring any mistakes, look like they could be sorted. I'm not sure Rich Warmingham can do anything about Greg unless he makes a mistake.
Boy, Victor's still pushing really hard. I can't believe it. Comes up through Reed Park, sideways. McPhillamy over to Skyline.
Johnny's currently in 7th. He's got JC in front of him. I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to get past.
Down through the S's. Victor's over the Dipper. Heading into Forest Elbow for his final shot down Conrad Straight. He's on his way.
JC and Johnny are now starting their trek down the mountain.
Yeah, they're very close together.
Around Forest Elbow. Yeah.
Victor comes into the chase on 2 wheels. God.
Johnny's making the move.
Okay, Victor through Murray's. And
Johnny gets the move
across the
done.
line.
So George comes across in second. Greg in third. Rich Warmingham fourth. Harold Stadler in fifth.
Johnny
Johnny
Brandon's.
Brandon sixth, and JC seventh.
Nice finish by Greg Carr. He drove really well today.
Sorry, guys, I was just listening to the driver chat there at the end. So, Bill, very difficult race. Pretty much pitch black at the end. Great drive from Victor. Pretty much led from start to finish. Managed the gap to George. George, in turn, couldn't catch Victor, but pulled away from any all-comers that got into third place, which eventually was taken by Greg Carr. Little bit of needle between Harold Stadler and Johnny Brandon. But on the whole, another good race, I thought. Lots going on, and all bodes well for the Enduro next weekend.
For sure, indeed. I have to totally agree with you. Victor and George were the class of the field on that race, and of course, they had a better starting position. But they still drove excellent. But what was really nice was the 2 or 3, sometimes 4-car battles, kind of toward the front and in the middle of the pack, which we covered most of the race. That was really neat. It's really neat to see that much competition between all those guys instead of just running in a line all the time. It was really, really a lot of fun to watch, and what we could kind of imagine when it got really dark must have been interesting also. So it was a lot of fun. 3 really excellent races. Uh, wish all the sprint races could be like this, because this was by far the best one we've had so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, 17 cars on the grid, or 16 in this because Mike didn't really make it. But like you say, there was battles up and down the grid, and yeah, really, really good races, and can't wait for next week. So we have Mr. Johnny Brandon waiting for us in the interview room. So let's drag up shall we say, a very pissed off Mr. Brandon.
Uh-oh.
Johnny, good evening.
Evening.
Hi, Johnny.
Evening, Bill.
So, first question, nothing really to do with anything that's gone on, but how dark was it at the end?
Hold on, what do you mean? It was very dark at the end. Very, very dark. It was good, though.
Yeah, I must admit, I can't remember. I don't even know what car it was, but it was a Bathurst race that one of the Apex guys had set up, and I think they got their 8 a.m.s and their 8 p.m.s mixed up once, and we ended up racing around there at night. And yeah, it was good fun, definitely. So, race 1, take us through it.
Race 1, it seems like ages ago. What happened race 1? Race 1, got a lucky pole, and then had Michael Taljancic behind me. Super quick, that guy. He was obviously a lot quicker than me, so I was just trying to hold my position. And then I think he had a bit of net coat up the back of me at the end. Is it Conrad Straight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there was a big gap on the replays, and I don't know how I stayed on the track, but somehow managed to stop. And to be fair to Mike, he backed right off, give it a load of space, waited. I think he knew it had happened. And then we had a little side by side where he went down the outside, and I think I might have moved. I thought there was a big gap between us. We were chatting afterwards. He thought there was a big gap between us, but somehow we touched. And if anything, I was moving to the right, so it was probably my fault. And I was thinking about waiting, and then I thought, oh, he's going to catch me anyway, so bloody quick. Which he nearly did, but I didn't give him a chance. I just put it in the wall.
Yeah, I must admit, I think I mentioned on the commentary I watched it from a head-on shot, and it did look as if I don't think you meant to do it, but you certainly moved across to the right, and I don't think Mike had anywhere to go. So
I think I was.
but racing incident in my eye.
Yeah.
So race 2.
I was going to say I put it in the wall because I had a technical issue. But my screens went off, so like Tony always does whenever something goes wrong. But it was my fault.
Yeah, at the moment, Tony's trying to squeeze himself into an Elvis suit, so I won't worry about that. So race 2, you got it all right. Starting 11th, Mike was 6 places behind you. You got to the front and never looked back.
Yeah, kind of. Had damage from the first lap, so I was kind of lucky how it played out, really. But I was side by side with somebody, and they just put me into the wall. Basically, left no room as per normal, and give me damage lap 1. So it's a bit frustrating. And then kept going. Eventually got past him, but I'd lost straight line speed by that point, so it was incredibly difficult.
I was hoping Lane would give you a hip check there when you went by him.
Yeah, no, he was just trying to cling on. I think he was more concerned with Taliancic catching him than me.
Yeah, I know.
He did really well, I thought, Lane.
Oh,
and then anyway, kept going and eventually got to the front. But yeah, it was just trying to survive after that.
Yeah, and Mike was chasing you down as well in that race, but obviously run out of laps in the end. I think he had a coming together at the start of the race, which we thought at the time he was being very, very patient and just staying at the back and waiting for the gaps. But from the driver chat, I believe he had an incident, and that's why he was at the back for the first few laps. Just going on to race 3 then. Before we get to the dirty stuff at the end, there was a crash at the start. And
it was I saw a green car
he lost
going,
it,
and I just
he lost it under brakes, and everyone piled into everybody else. And I was watching you, and you was like Moses. The seas parted, and you didn't even touch anyone.
Right, it was like I was coming through Tesco's car park. It was I didn't touch any of them. So it was also a large amount of luck, but yeah.
Let me tell you, Brandon, you live with the Angels. You should have been involved in that one. I'll tell you. Wow, you escaped.
To be fair to me, I mean, I was lucky to get through that without anybody touching me, but I did see it happening. I just saw Andrew about 10 cars up, going completely sideways in the braking zone. I thought,
here it
stamped
is,
on the brakes. And just luckily for me, I think I had Taliancic next to me, so he didn't shoot left. I stayed where I was. I think other people may have shot left to try and avoid stuff. He just was in the wrong lane and sort of took his medicine, if you like, for want of a better term, and stayed there rather than take me out. And I managed to just get through where it opened up in the middle. But there were cars everywhere. I don't know how many people were involved in that, but it looked like there was like cars everywhere then.
What happened to Mike T? He was kind of alongside of you, and Greg Carr got spun around 180 degrees and nailed him head on. That's what happened to Mike.
Yeah, I think he thought about jinking left because I think he see it happening as well. But yeah. I think he thought about it, had a twitch, and then realised I was there. And I mean, thanks, Mike, if he watches this. But yeah, he decided to stay where he was and not wipe me out as well. And I think that allowed me to keep going. But
you know, before I forget, Johnny, I got to tell you, you made a pass at Murray's.
One's Murray's.
That's the last corner onto the pit straight, front straight.
Oh yeah,
the left-hander. you were on the outside and you made a pass. It was freaking incredible. I'll tell you, I've never seen anybody do that. That was
Well,
excellent.
to be fair, Mike tried it on me. That's what gave me the idea, and he broke so much later down there. But it was just I hit him, so it stopped him doing it.
Yeah.
To be fair, with that net code where I moved over, but
Well,
yeah,
I saw you do
was
that,
it.
then you tried it again, and you had to back down because it wasn't working. But I'll tell you, that was an impressive move. Holy mackerel!
Well, I mean, it's the same as any overtaking move. I think it relies on the other person playing ball to a certain extent.
Oh,
So
of course.
If they play ball, then yeah, it can all go very wrong very quick. But yeah, appreciate that. I did enjoy it at the time. But
So let
I
me
think, was
ask
it
you,
Greg Carr? Was it?
what's that?
Was it Greg Carr or Gary Croft? That was
I'm not sure. I can't even remember. But all I could see is he's going on the outside. He says he's never going to make it. He's going to be in the wall. And there you were ahead. I said, "Wow, incredible!"
Yeah, well, thanks to whoever that was, because they assisted that. They made it look better than it was, I think. But yeah, I appreciate it.
And did you feel lonely not having Tony Glusman beating on the backside of your car today?
No, well, not really, because I kind of had somebody else doing it, so it was all right.
So moving on to that then, I I listened to the driver chat at the end, and obviously you wasn't very happy.
It's every week the same person.
It looked, just playing devil's advocate, it looked like when you got behind Harold, you was bumping him at every opportunity.
Are you talking about going up the mountain?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't accelerate. I never touched him once, but he just kept stopping. He wasn't accelerating. Did you see how much Greg Carter, whoever was up behind us as well? He was deliberately slowing. I wasn't touching him. We weren't accelerating. He was playing silly buggers. So I don't know why he was doing that. But I saved the replay because, I mean, yeah. I don't know why he was doing that. But he was braking early, not getting on the accelerator, going really slow in the throttle zones up the mountain. Whether he's letting George get away or whether he was trying to put us back into people. But I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, he wasn't happy for some reason.
Look like Harold took you out in the chase there too. I'll tell you.
Yeah. I think he's upset because to be in race one, we had a side by side and I knocked him on the grass. And it was a 50-50 one. I could have given him more room, to be fair. But before that, we were side by side. I'd left him in through 3 corners and he just pushed me straight into the wall, give me damage in race 2. Was weaving across the track, across the mountain. And he does it every race. And it's so frustrating. He's the only person that won't leave for him. And sorry to call him out on it, but then it gets frustrating then. And I was trying to be as clean as possible, but I wasn't pushing him up the mountain. I don't want to do that. I'm here to have fun and be clean, but be fair. But if we're not leaving each other space, then how else are you supposed to get past people? And if he wants to get his elbows out, I'll get my elbows out to try and get past. He doesn't leave many options, and he seems to complain about the fast guys pushing him and hitting him to get past all the time. Well, if he held the line or went defensive early and didn't jump around all over the track turning in, there wouldn't be problems. I've got no problem with him defending at all. But what he's doing isn't defending. It's just weaving and boshing, and then he thinks it's everyone else's fault. So, I mean, if people think it's my fault, then I'd like to hear it, and I'll gladly try and change what I'm doing. But it's been going on for a while, so it's frustrating. It's a shame. And then he just deliberately wiped me out at the end of Convod in race 3. I mean, he had the car, he touched the grass, got the car back under control, slowed down, nice big gap, and then just come off the brakes and hit me. So, I don't know.
Oh, he definitely took you out in the chase, no doubt about that one.
Yeah, I to be fair, not that I'm sitting on the fence, but the view I had of it wasn't very good. So I'll wait until tomorrow until I pass judgment on that one.
I don't want any protests. I just want him to see what's going on. I mean, have a chat with me. If he thinks it's me and I'm dirty and this, we can have a chat and look at the replays and stuff and have a chat about it. I don't thought that of him. I thought Harold was a nice guy, but it's getting frustrating. It's I know.
Yeah, and obviously, just to back that up, what you've just said, we always have and always have had and always will have this, open door policy in the series. We encourage drivers to, chat to each other. If they think something's not right, or if they want a mediator involved, I'm always available. We've had drivers with issues in the past, and they've chatted and talked it through, and don't always agree at the end, but it is nice to not nice, but it helps you understand
It'll
more
never stop
from the other
unless we have a
driver's
chat about it.
perspective.
Yeah. If we don't talk about it, he obviously thinks I'm out of order. I think he's out of order. So we can just keep going on like this, race after race after, or we can have a chat and try and decide what's going on and try and come to some sort of agreement. Anyway, more to the point, you were calling me Boshy Brandon or Bumpy Brandon, apparently, on the broadcast I hear. I'm more upset about that.
Well, to be honest, that's what that's what I was saying about the Harold thing.
Unbelievable!
It did look
official and impartial, Clyde. I can't believe this.
It did look that when you was going up the hill, you was bumping him at every opportunity.
I think I bumped him twice, but he wasn't accelerating, and I was off the throttle, everything at that. But he was deliberately trying to slow it up all the way where it was all single file. He was just not accelerating. And I don't know if it was Greg Carr, whoever it was behind me. He'll tell you. We just weren't. I mean, I don't know how far he was behind at the start of turn 2, but by the time we're at the top of the mountain, Greg Carr's trying to avoid me. We were so slow. He was playing silly buggers. I don't know why, what he thought that was going to accomplish. But I was trying to be as clean and as careful as possible because I knew what was coming with him, because it happens every time I try and get past him every week. And then he starts moaning that all the fast guys hit him out of the way. It's not just me, Tony, everyone that tries to, but it's because he's just not leaving room where it's in a fair way. But he obviously doesn't see it like that. But that's my opinion. But hey ho, it's all the fun of racing and why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So Harold aside, obviously with Elvis Kloosterman off to Vegas, it wasn't a bad meeting for you on the point side of things. I don't know off the top of my head how it's going to sit in the morning, but obviously yourself or George is going to be top of the pile with 2 meetings left to go. So, you're still in the running. Am
I in the running for this one?
Most definitely. You are, or before tonight.
2 weeks of it. I've had about 3 bad rounds where Tony decided he wanted to get in the back end of my car every round.
Yeah, but everybody else is missing meetings as well. You started this round 28 points behind the leader.
Okay. Ooh. Who's the leader, George?
No, it was Tony by 1 point over George.
What's that with drop weeks? Is there drop weeks in this?
There is drop weeks, and all 3 of you have had drop weeks. So it's already taken into account.
So, well, what does that mean? Tony's going to lose loads of points.
He will do, yeah, because he's swanning about.
He's already had his drop week.
Yeah.
Unless his drop week's worth more than a 0.
Yeah, but it's not.
It might keep him in it. Oh, that's a shame.
So it looks like it's going to be between you and George.
Oh, I'm banging trouble then. Harold won't have that, will he? That might explain what Harold's doing.
Can't beat a good conspiracy theory.
The team games. I'm calling team game.
Yeah.
So I'll call everything except my fault, shall I? There you go. That's it. It's anything except me. No, I don't know. I'll have a sit and look at it. We'll see.
I blamed your accident in the first race for Tony leaving his Elvis costume on the track.
Yeah. It felt like that. I literally went across something shiny and sparkly, and it definitely lost all front end grip. I think he might have somehow snuck out there or something. I don't know what he's done there. It's definitely his fault.
Obviously, sprint series, 20-minute races. Next weekend, we've got a 90-minute enduro. Anything that you've learned from tonight, setup-wise, or anything like that, that's going to, help you with your second title push next week?
Stay out of the walls. Do a bit more practice than what I did for this one. Hope Michael Taliancic doesn't turn up. And stay away from Harold Stadler. They're the 4 major points for me next week. Yeah, we'll see if we can accomplish. I think all 4 of them need to line up for me to have a chance of doing anything in this, because It's not one of my best circuits. I do like it. But that's going to be tough. 90 minutes round here. I couldn't even do 20 minutes in the first race without hitting the wall, making a mistake. So God knows I'm going to do 90.
Yeah, and if Mike turns up, he'll do it without stopping as well. So,
You know, Johnny, when we opened tonight, we mentioned that no matter how good you are at this track, boy, it can bite you. I don't care how great you are, what kind of times you turn, it can bite you at any minute. It's really amazing.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Because we just did Belle Isle the other week. Arguably, I think that's almost harder. It's tighter. It's less forgiving. And I did all of that without any mistakes whatsoever. And I can't do 20 minutes round here without making a silly mistake. So maybe it's just I didn't do enough practice on this, which I didn't really.
Over the mountain either makes or breaks you, no doubt about that.
I was all right over the mountain. It was that turn 3. That's where I was making where I crashed in race 1. That's where I was making all the mistakes.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
This
for
is
sure.
the tricky one on the brakes for me. But that was all right. It was fun. Well, except little bits of it, which are a shame. But we'll see.
One other thing, your teamy Rich Warmingham looks really good out there tonight. I'll tell you, he did a great job.
He's been flying around Bathurst, to be fair to Rich.
He was quick tonight, I'll tell you.
I think in the Bathurst 1000, I think he out-qualified Tony.
I'll tell you, it's amazing.
He's got some pace round there, Rich. It's just the consistency at the minute, but he's getting there.
I notice he's racing Audis with you also.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. We're all doing the TCR Audis and the V8s have literally. I hadn't done a lap before. I did an hour last night, or an hour and a half last night, and then the hours practice before today. So wasn't a lot.
I still think you can
needs a bit more.
drive that. You can drive that sucker with one arm tied behind your back, blind. Don't give me that.
I do. I don't. To be honest with you, Richard was faster than me in the practice yesterday. Pretty much, it was like a 10th in it. And I only really found a bit of pace in practice before the race today. So
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. I'm sure. But like, it doesn't matter the pace. You know, I put it in the wall. Like I'm 9th or whatever it was in race 1. I can't even remember. It's you just got to be consistent and not make mistakes. That's what's important, and I couldn't do that today. So we'll see.
Well, anyway, Mr. Brandon, I think you did pretty well tonight. To be honest with you, all things considered, good job.
Thanks very much, Bill. I enjoyed it. Had fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and obviously thanks for coming in and doing an interview with us, Johnny. We're going to have to close now because we are running out of time. But just to remind everybody, main event next Saturday, endurance race from Bathurst. Get your retro paints in to Dave Jansen. We'll see what we...
did you see our retro paints?
We did. We had your retro paints, and I must admit, I did fall in love with Lane O'Connor's golf paint. That
don't
was
say
really
that.
Good.
He's the reason we run him early this week because he's not going to make it next week. So don't tell him his one looked nice because he won't go up.
Well, he's left you a couple of nice messages on the chat anyway that you'll get to see later on.
Right. Yeah. I can only imagine.
But yeah. So, like I say, thanks to Johnny for coming in for an interview. Thanks to will.i.am Switzer for joining me in the booth. And thanks to Stig Boozin for running the Wheels of Steel in the background. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the Sprint Series again. But don't forget, next week, Apex Racing TV, the 90-minute Enduro from Bathurst for the main series. So nothing else from me, so it's good night.
And Racetech, thanks for letting us do this crazy stuff. Good night.